Hey guys, and welcome back to another video of ECK Sports, and today we are back at it with another MLW analysis, and we are going to be going over the Gators versus Diamondbacks series. This was a very entertaining and long one, but I hope you guys enjoy this, and once again, always make sure to hit that like button and that subscribe button. But without further ado, let's get into it. In game one, Brendan Jorgensen would start for the Gators. Jimmy Knorp started off the game with a nice single, but then Jorgensen would go on to walk 3 in a row, which resulted in a run. Schema would strike out, but then Heath would hit a shot off the left field monster and get 2 RBIs out of it. Though Jorgensen would get out of the inning, Knorp would be on the mound for the Diamondbacks in game 1, and after a leadoff walk, Jimmy would strike out 2. On some nice hits by Cheetam and Jorgensen, the Gators got in a run. The inning would end with a shot off the bat of Brendan Szerlag, but Heath made a nice catch on it. To start off the second, Jonah Heath would hit a bomb to center field off Jorgensen's riser, his first home run of the year, and you know he's gonna have a lot more of those this season. Jorgensen would fight back, striking out 2 and getting Knorp to fly out. Then Knorp, being himself, catches 2 pop flies in foul territory and strikes out Brendan Szerlag on kind of like a rising drop ball. I don't even know what to call it. And then after a strikeout and a walk, Jimmy Knorp hits a 2-run shot off Brendan Jorgensen to make it 6-1. Jimmy has just been a beast this year. On an MLW Network video, I picked him to win MVP and Silver Slugger, and this is why, because he is a beast. Schema would once again strike out, but then Heath and Knorp would get hits. Jorgensen would settle in and end the inning on a strikeout. Knorp would close out the game, going 3 innings, only allowing 1 run, and the D-backs got a nice win. In game 2, Jonah Heath would start for the Diamondbacks, and it didn't start off well for him as Cheetam started off with a home run, his 3rd of the year. Jorgensen would walk, and Szerlag would get a hit, and the Gators would have 1st and 3rd for Cheetam. Chris would hit a shot to Heath, but Heath makes a great play pegging Cheetam, but a run does score. But then Brendan Szerlag would go on to shock everybody and hit a bomb to left center right in front of the scoreboard. Szerlag's first homer of the year, and we know he had a pretty bad year, last year, and he wasn't really good in 2019 either. But this year, maybe this is his breakout season, because it is his 3rd year, so put up or shut up year for Brendan Szerlag. Cheetam would go on to follow Szerlag with a bomb to center field going back to back. Jonah would end it with a nasty slurve on Brendan Jorgensen, but the Gators did their damage. In the bottom of the 1st, Cheetam would strike out Heath, get Knorp to line out, and strike out Schema. Jonah would bounce back in the 2nd, getting 2 strikeouts and a ground out. Cheetam gave up 3 walks in a row to start the inning, but then bounced back, striking out Heath and Knorp. Schema gets the first run in for the D-backs in the game with a nice hit down the 3rd base line. Cheetam would go on to throw one of his signature drops to Heath, getting out of the inning and putting the Gators in a great position to win the game. To start off the 3rd, Jonah would get a strikeout and 2 nice fielding plays to end the inning. Jimmy Knorp would take Cheetam deep to left field. Another home run for Jimmy Knorp, his 4th of the year. But then Chris would close out the game, going 3 innings, allowing 2 runs and getting the Gators a nice and much needed win. Cheetam would start for the Gators in game 3. The top of the 1st would be a mix of everything with hits, strikeouts, great fielding plays, walks, you name it, but no runs would come across. The D-backs would have a nice 1-2-3 inning. Schema made a great play on a ground ball and then robbed Brendan Szerlag of a home run. In the 2nd, Cheetam started off with a nice strikeout, but then Jimmy Knorp got a double, but he ended up going to 3rd on an error. Cheetam fights back, striking out Heath, and then Cheetam would intentionally walk Jimmy Knorp to get to Schema. The intentional walk paid off for the Gators as Schema strikes out and ends the inning. Jimmy struck out Cheetam and Szerlag and then made a great play on a ground ball from Jorgensen. Cheetam struck out Heath twice, and once again, Jimmy gets a hit and Schema walks. Cheetam bounced back, striking out Schema after an intentional walk on Jimmy once again, and then Cheetam would lead off the bottom of the 3rd with a single, but it wouldn't matter because Jimmy would get 3 strikeouts in a row to end the inning, and now we had to extras. After a leadoff walk, Cheetam strikes out 3 in a row on some drop balls to end the inning. Basically exactly what Knorp did. Knorp continued to look good, getting a 1-2-3 inning on 2 strikeouts and a lineout. Cheetam didn't do any different in the 5th, striking out 3 hitters in a row, sending it to the bottom of the 5th. Jimmy had another quick inning, striking out 2 in a row, but then Cheetam gave a spark for the Gators, getting a hit, but it wouldn't matter batter as Jorgensen lined out. In the top 6, Cheetam started it off with a strikeout, but then walked 2 in a row, which gave some hope for the D-backs. But that wouldn't continue as Cheetam strikes out Knorp and Schema on 2 filthy drop balls. Knorp would continue his dominant performance into the 6th. Even though he gave up a hit, the D-backs made 2 really good defensive plays as they always do, but then Jimmy throws a filthy backdoor slider to Brendan Szerlag. The darkness would really kick in the 7th inning as the D-backs had 3 straight flyouts and would have to hope they continue their dominant defense to win. Knorp would strike out 3 in a row once again, and the game was postponed to another day due to darkness. This was a big factor. Knorp would have a leadoff walk, but then Ben Wilson would get his first appearance of the year in striking out. Heath and Knorp would get on base to load the bases for Wilson. Then Wilson hits a shot to left on his 2nd at-bat of the year. I mean, that's just crazy. Like, it was, as they said in the video, it was bound to happen. On his 2nd at-bat of the year, Wilson comes in, hits a shot. I think he'll be playing in more series, and he really broke the game open there. Heath went back-to-back, hitting a shot over the left field monster, and the D-backs would once again hit a home run. But then the Diamondbacks would once again load the bases for Jimmy Knorp. Another grand slam for Jimmy Knorp. I mean, this blew the game wide open, and I mean, I don't know what to say. 2 grand slams in the inning, 3 home runs in the inning. I mean, that was one of the craziest innings. I definitely think that, Cheetam coming in on a new day definitely hurt him. And I think if they had stayed on that day, maybe the Gators would have won. I just think that it being a new day, and maybe that just wasn't Cheetam's day. So, interesting. But, yeah, that was it for Cheetam. Jorgensen would come in for Cheetam, striking out 2 to end it. But then Knorp would get 2 quick outs. But just as we thought it was over, Brendan Szerlag hits a home run, breaking the shutout. But then Knorp would end it on a ground ball right back to him. He won 8 innings, only allowed 1 earned run, and got the D-backs a win. Alright, some of my takeaways from this series was Knorp's pitching was unreal. I mean, you saw it, especially in the 3rd game, and even in the 1st game, it was pretty solid. I mean, he's definitely going to be a big piece to the D-backs, and I may go through these quick just because I know the recapping part was really long because of the game 3. So, yeah, I might go a little quick here. Cheetam is a good pitcher. I don't really buy in that 8th inning. I think you saw those first 7 innings, and he was good for game 2 as well. Throughout game 2 and the first 7 innings of game 3, he had only given up 2 runs. I mean, that's spectacular. Usually guys are pitching 6 innings in a series, and for him to only give up 2 runs in 10 innings, I just think with it being a new day, it was hot. I just think all the new things that Cheetam had to go through made it worse for him. And then Jorgensen's regression, we don't really have to talk about this much because everybody knows it. People will deny it. People say, he's just in a slump right now, which could be true. People say, oh, NLDS, NLDS, NLDS. People just won't admit, especially on the MLW Discord. 2 things about the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks are definitely the best defense in MLW. Everybody can field. Wilson, Knorp, Heath, Schema, they can all do it. And yeah, they're the best team in MLW. I wouldn't say they have the best pitching, but honestly, you can make an argument they do. Their fielding is the best, as I just said, and their hitting is probably the best too. So they are for sure the best team in MLW. There really isn't another option. I guess you could argue the Wildcats, you could argue the Mallards, you could argue the Preds, you could argue the Cobras, but I think that the Diamondbacks are the choice. And I would say I overhyped Schema a little bit. He had a bit of a rough series. I think that his series against the Eagles was maybe a little inflated and something we may not see again, but I think that Schema is still a good player and a good replacement player, or if they want to go 4 players, he'd be good for that, but I don't think that he's going to be a groundbreaking piece. Cheetam carries the Gators. It's simple. If Szerlag keeps improving, I'm not going to say this. Or if Jorgensen goes back to last year Jorgensen, then I wouldn't say this. But that just hasn't been the case. Jorgensen this year has been pretty bad. Szerlag has been on and off, but he showed a lot of improvement, which we'll get to in a sec. And then Cheetam has really been great on the mound and great at the plate. So I really like Cheetam. I think he is a great player. And if the Gators are going to want to do anything, Cheetam's going to have to play really well. Szerlag has improved. I mean, he had 2 home runs today. Coming into this series, he had 2 home runs in his career. 1 in the NLDS last year, and then 1 in 2019. and then all of a sudden he comes in hitting 2 homers. He doubled his career home run total today. And honestly, I think that Szerlag will be pretty solid. I don't think he's going to be groundbreaking, but I also don't think he's going to be terrible like he had been in past years. And then for my next series prediction, I think the Mallards are going to take the series over the Preds 2-1. And I think that the Mallards pitching matchups are a little bit better. This is Stephen McLeod's first time, and I do think Bonham can be cratched once. I think that the Mallards will at least get 1 win, maybe 2. I don't think there will be a sweep. Maybe there will be. But yeah, now let's close it out with the Nuke and Web gem of the day.
Oh, a shot to left center, carrying at the wall. Oh, robbed by Schema. Unbelievable. Swing and drive, Knorp home run. The downtown Diamondbacks